Welcome everyone to the sixth round of the Menorca Masters 2026. We have Grandmaster Leinier Dominguez on our screens. He is going to face the world champion Domaraju Gukesh. Dominguez has beaten Nihal Sarin here, drawn with Ponomaryov, but has lost a few games. He's lost to Rapport, he's lost to Hari Krishna, and now faces Gukesh for the second time in this tournament. He's drawn with Gukesh in round 1. Meanwhile, for Gukesh, this tournament has been a mixed one until now. He is on 50% score with 2.5 points out of 5, as we have the guest of honor making the move. Will Gukesh be able to score a win against Dominguez is the big question. The players are ready, and I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Handshake 30 minutes plus 10 seconds increment, and Gukesh adjusts all his pieces. And look at that, calmly just getting ready. Dominguez closes his eyes, pawn to e4, and we have Sicilian on the board. Now that's a fighting weapon used by Dominguez. And Gukesh brings his knight out to f3, pawn to d6 played, and we are going to see an open Sicilian here. Pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn, knight f6, and the knight comes out to c3. The Sicilian Najdorf is on the board with a6, bishop g5, the Richter Rouser. Not the Richter Rouser, but bishop g5 line in the Najdorf. Richter Rouser is in the classical variation with knight c6. Okay, Dominguez takes his time. He did not perhaps expect Gukesh to go bishop g5. The main move now is e6. And later you can also play the poisoned pawn with queen b6. He goes knight d7, and Gukesh quickly brings back his bishop to e3. So Gukesh showing some prep here, moving quickly. Queen comes to c7, and he goes pawn to g4. Very aggressive, very interesting play. Yeah, we have h6. The idea was, of course, to kick the knight and then jump in with your own knight to attack the queen. Pawn to a4, stopping the queenside expansion with b5. And pawn comes up to b6. With the plan of bishop b7 and attacking the e4 pawn. The bishop comes out to g2. e5 is a threat. Bishop comes to b7, and now Gukesh goes further in with h4, expanding on the king side. Black is a little bit passive here, and very curious what Dominguez does, because would he go e6? He goes knight e5, g5 played, takes, pawn takes, rook takes rook, bishop takes rook, and now knight d7 played. You could have gone knight g4, but maybe he thought the knight could get trapped here. So he goes knight d7, but now maybe knight d5 is a strong move here that Gukesh has. Plays it. Knight to d5. The bishop takes on d5. Pawn takes d5, and g6 played. If you went knight c4 trying to attack here, then g6 with the idea of capturing the e6 square was very powerful. So g6 stops white's g6, and now Gukesh moves in with the knight to c6. I think a logical way to play here is to take on c6, take here and play knight e5, and then attack here the pawn on c6. That would give black good fighting chances, but bishop g7 is definitely not a great move. Because now Gukesh can potentially just play bishop d4 and pin this knight to the bishop. You can also kick the knight away with f4, which would be very powerful, and he plays it. Pawn to f4 played by Gukesh, attacking the knight. The knight takes on c6, d takes c6. This is a very powerful pawn now. Knight to c5. Very interesting to see how Gukesh continues here. b4, fearless, opening up the bishop to the rook. Takes, queen takes, threatening a checkmate here on h8, and also the knight. Knight e6 with the idea of blocking the check. Gukesh is currently an exchange down. He goes bishop to d5, and his plan is to take queen h8 check and win the rook on a8. Knight goes back to f8, and now a5 is a cool move because takes, and then you can plonk your bishop on b6 and start moving your pawn ahead. c4 was played. This does allow black to fight back with the move e6. Let's see if Dominguez plays it. e6 is quite strong here. Dominguez has 1 minute on the 7 minutes actually. It's not 1 minute, 7 minutes, while Gukesh has 2 minutes on the clock. And he plays pawn to e6. Bishop comes back to f3. And now maybe d5, giving up another pawn. He goes e5. This keeps the bishop open. d5 takes, and if bishop d5, then maybe just queen d6. And this is playable position for black. e5, and now Gukesh goes queen b2. Moving his queen one square up. Again, a5 takes, and bishop b6 would have been much stronger. But queen b2 with the idea of now knight e6 should be a good move. He goes rook b8, and that's perhaps not the best idea. Now Gukesh can actually try and put the bishop back on d5. He plays it. A good move. And Dominguez's rook would love to get activated here, but there are no simple open files. Knight e6. And maybe he takes on e5. There was also f5 takes and queen going here and trying to enter here. But fe, d taken. And now Gukesh down to his last few seconds. 8, 7. He takes on e6. Fe. Bit surprising because Gukesh is down on material and queen takes c6 can fall. But b5 played. It's a mistake because now black can take and play queen d6. And then king e7 and try to control the f file or the h file. He goes rook d8. That's not a good move because now queen h2 is very powerful. And Gukesh finds it. Beautiful move. Entering here. The main problem and point was after AB, queen d6. If try and go queen h2, queen b4 starts to create a lot of counterplay with c4 pawn hanging. So rook d8, queen h2, and queen comes to d6. We have check. King comes up to f7. And now a check on f6. Very likely he gives a check. King g8 takes. King f8. And now Gukesh is really winning. His Position is better, but he needs to find a way because black is coming in with a check. Calms himself down here, plays king f2. That's a nice move. He's not caring about finishing off the game instantly. He's playing it calmly. e4 played to give queen check on h2. Queen f6, king g8. And now if you rush in with g6, then after rook f8, you simply lose the queen. So that again, you have to be careful. King g2 played. Wow. It's a bold move. Maybe queen d3 now. You have to go in. As black, you have to create chances. So queen d3, good move. Attacking the bishop. And here, Gukesh snatches a pawn on e6 with a check. King f8. Queen comes to f5. He goes back to g8. And now, what's the move? Well, if you give a check here, there is queen f2 back. So should be able to hold this checks. c7. Well done. It's a great move. And there's no one stopping the pawn now. Check. Bishop f2 is another good move because c pawn is moving forward and Gukesh now realizes he's winning here. He gives a check. Dominguez takes. Pawn takes with a check. He takes. King takes f3. Rook c8. And maybe the simplest is to take on b6. Yeah. And with now the a pawn queening, he goes king f7. Bishop a5. Ah, smart. He wants to go b6 and b7. And Dominguez resigns. Gukesh scores an important win to move to +1. There were some inaccuracies in the middle game, but Gukesh's opening play was very impressive. And now he moves to 3.5 points out of 6, which is half a point behind the leaders. And Gukesh could very well make a run to the finish line now and win this tournament. It could very well be his first tournament win after becoming the world champion. And this was a very, very nice victory to begin with on day 3. Actually, it's day 4 of the tournament. There's only one more day left, that is the 12th, as Gukesh is met with some young fans outside the tournament hall.